Today we are here at the outskirts of Brighton to test out Canon's brand new mirrorless camera, the Canon EOS R6 Mark II. Today we have got a beta sample from Canon. Now, if you do want to have a look at the final results, we are going to be doing a production model review very soon on this channel, so make sure to stick around for that. Now, the R6 Mark II has a brand new sensor with a 20% increase in resolution over the original R6, coming in at 24.2 megapixels. It also has a faster readout speed. Now, this isn't a stacked sensor like, for instance, the Canon R3, but it is significantly faster than the R6, and this should hopefully help out rolling shutter in both photography and video. The Canon R6 Mark II has also had a slight redesign, which makes it a little bit more user-friendly over the original R6. With a brand new on, off and lock switch, which is found below the mode dial, a dedicated movie to photography switch, also a redesigned multi-controller or joystick, a new multifunctional hot shoe, a new mode dial with special scenes, as well as having dedicated custom modes for both photography and video. And you've also got the same weather resistance as the previous model with a durable magnesium alloy construction. Now, we're not going to be doing an ISO test today because this is a pre-production camera and we're going to leave that for our later review. But let's quickly talk about the specs of its low light or ISO performance. So the Canon R6 Mark II has a base ISO of 100 and it goes all the way up to 102,400, expandable to 204,800. Now that is a crazy high ISO, great for all types of lighting conditions, which will be able to help you out at a pinch if you are in a low light situation. Now, if you are using this camera in more of a low light situation, this camera can autofocus down to minus 6.5 EV. Now, to give you a representation of how dark that is, that's like a candlelit room or a really dark church with very small windows. Now, annoyingly, it is quite bright out here at the moment, so we're not going to be able to utilise this camera fully, and obviously it is a beta sample, but we have got some dark trees and some shrubbery over there. Let's go ahead and take a couple of test shots. The new R6 Mark II also has an improved Deep Learning AF, which we've seen from the Canon EOS R3, and you can now detect more subjects, for instance horses, aircraft and trains, and you can now select all of these from the new Autofocus Select tracking mode in the menu. The Canon R6 Mark II also has an increase in its shutter speed performance, 12 frames per second in mechanical, which is the same as the original R6, but up to 40 frames per second in electronic, which is its fastest in its class and double over the original R6. You can also select what frames per second you want as well, if let's say you want 5, 15, 20 or up to 40, so you can select the right speed for you. You've also got an increase in its buffer speed, so you can take up to 190 JPEGs, 140 compressed RAW photos, or 75 uncompressed RAW photos shot at 40 frames per second. Now, just like the rest of the Canon range, the R6 Mark II has amazing image stabilization, a revised 5-axis image stabilization with up to 8 stops over the R6. Now, this is great if you're a hybrid shooter, which is what this camera is designed for. Great for photography, but also video, which means you'll be able to create long exposures without a tripod in photo mode. But when you're in video, you're going to be able to rely on this handheld versus maybe using a gimbal, for example. And that's something we definitely can test out today. Now, me and Amy have a little bit of a challenge going on at the moment. See who can take the sharpest image with the longest exposure. Now, currently Amy is winning at 2.5 seconds, which is really impressive, but I think I can beat her with the new R6 Mark II. So let's see how well the image stabilization can cope with my kind of shaky hand movement. Okay, so my exposure settings are 2.5 seconds, f8 at 100 ISO. I have got an ND. I'm set to around, I think it's about 8 stops. So let me go ahead and see if I can beat the 2.5 seconds. Okay, let's see, have a look at that. Okay, there is a little bit of blur in there, but I get 3 takes. I've been told I get 3 takes. So we try again. Okay, that's quite sharp. So I'm gonna go I'm gonna go for 3 seconds. No, 3.2 seconds. Okay, there is a little bit of blur in that photo, but to be honest, I'm actually really happy. 3.2 seconds while being handheld, I think that's really, really impressive, especially when you think I'm shooting at around 35mm, which, you know, isn't exactly wide angle, but it's not exactly telephoto either.
Okay, right, so starting at 3.2. He's put the big guns in there. Let's have a look. Right. Never done it this high, only ever done 2.5, and that was with the R5, so let's have a go. Oh, that didn't feel good. Let's have a look. It's bang on sharp.
Okay, so that's better than mine.
Yeah.
But it's all down to the camera. It's got nothing to do with the person.
Apart from this direct test that we're doing, specifically with only the person changing. So now I'm going to put it up to 4 seconds. Let's give it a go. That's sharp. I'm just going to quit my job and be a long exposure handheld photographer. And it's sharp again at 4 seconds. So I get one more go.
Get one more go.
I'll be so happy if I can get 5 seconds here. Let's try and get 5 seconds, right? Oh, I'd say that's sharp. You can have a look. There's maybe a touch more movement than at 4.
Yeah. That's very good.
That's really impressive, isn't it?
That's unbelievably
That's really impressive. Now that is interesting because obviously the 8 stops, yes, okay, the other ones were 8 stops, R5's up to 8 stops, R6 original was up to 8 stops, but R6 Mark II has got that revised image stabilization system.
Which is really impressive.
Yeah, and I've never been able to get that. And when I got my 2.5 second shot, I was at 24mm. So that's at 35. I can get 5 seconds, which is
if you're after a
pretty
great
mad
camera for image stabilization.
Yeah, I have to say that's a properly good test. Yeah. Really good.
Now what I love about the R6 Mark II, it is great at photography, but also very capable at video, with a full width oversampled 4K at 60 frames per second. It also has a brand new 6K mode at 60p ProRes RAW via its HDMI output. It also has 6 times slow motion, or up to 180 frames per second in 1080p. It also has face only AF, a brand new false colour mode, which is found in a lot of the Canon cinema line cameras. Lovely to see that trickle down into their photography cameras, as well as removal of the 30-minute limit. Really nice to see that, as well as having a new multi-function shoe with a bunch of new audio accessories, which will be coming in the future. You can also shoot in log profiles such as C-Log 3, which is really nice if you're wanting to colour grade your footage in post-production. This camera also has focus breathing correction built in, which again is a feature found predominantly in their cinema line camera. So it's really nice to see trickle down all of these really handy features for video. And that's something we're definitely going to be testing in our full length review. So Canon haven't just released the R6 Mark II today, they've also released a brand new mirrorless lens. Now, back in 1996, Canon released the EF 135mm f2L. Now, I loved this lens. In fact, I actually own it for my wedding photography. It is a beautiful lens. But finally, Canon have updated it to the new RF 135mm f1.8 ISL. Now, this is a big improvement. Firstly, it's got the new RF mount, which gives you so much more features. It gives you sharper image quality, as well as giving the ability of shooting at f1.8. It's also got image stabilization as well. Now, annoyingly, we can't use it today because this is not a usable sample, but I am unbelievably excited to actually use this because I actually own the older version, so I can't wait to see what it's like on a new mirrorless camera. So I am super excited. Now, if you do want to know any more information about the Canon R6 Mark II or that brand new Canon RF 135mm f1.8L, go ahead to the link in the description to take you to our website, which has got a full spec run through. We are also going to be doing an in-depth review on both the R6 Mark II and that new lens, so make sure to stay subscribed for that. Again, guys, I've been James for Wex Photo Video, and I'll catch you guys next time.